Hey man, you a producer, ain't you? You wanna make some beats, don't you? Well, I might have just found a new tool that'll help make using samples a whole lot easier, no matter what DAW you use. Let's check out the all-new Landr sampler. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wavy Wayne from WavyProAudio.com, man. The spot that's gonna help you record and mix better and faster. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and check out WavyProAudio.com right now for all your production needs. All right, so today we're gonna be talking about making some beats, man, and I got this brand new plugin from Landr. It's the Landr sampler. Now we're gonna try it out for the first time together and actually see how easy it is to use, man. All right, y'all, let's take a look at how we can use the new Landr sampler. When you first open up the sampler, you're gonna be asked to link your sample libraries, wherever they are, anywhere on your computer or hard drives. And you can always re-access that window just by going up to the settings menu, choose settings, and then you can see here, I have an add locations button. So you can add any sample folders or just point to any folders that you have on your computer, and it will automatically scan, categorize, and read the metadata of all those samples for you. Right after you link your sample library, some samples will automatically be loaded up on your keyboard, ready for you to start playing. You can always hit this load sample button again to just randomly reload a bunch of other samples across the keyboard. If you find something you like, you can hit the lock button right over that note. Matter of fact, it should be that one. You hit the lock button, and then even if you rescan or reload all the samples, every note will change to a new sample except the ones that you locked. Right? And you can get more advanced and narrow down your search by hitting the advanced filter button. You can start off by just typing in what you want. So if you're looking for kicks in particular, you can see, hey, I got 59 results for kicks that have popped up. You can choose from loops, one shots, or both. You can even set the length of the samples that you're looking for, and then even narrow down a little bit more. If you've loaded up multiple locations for your sample libraries, you can actually go through folder by folder and say, hey, you know what, only search in this folder or only search in a different folder. But this filter makes it really easy to just browse and bring up your samples and start playing. And if you notice, I did load up just kicks only, but since I locked in this particular loop, that one didn't change, and I like that. So down at the bottom of the keyboard on screen here, you will see that there are 3 different modes. We got the normal mode, which is basic sample playback. And yeah, you can even come in on this normal mode and edit your samples. Say, hey, if I want to set the start and end point of any samples, or even use the loop indicators to say, hey, let's set a loop to these samples. You can do any of that as well. The next mode is where it starts to get kind of interesting, right? Because right, I could take that, right, and actually shorten up the start and end time. Maybe say, you know what, maybe just this note. Right, and then go over to the sequence. If you don't want it to loop, we got these different playback modes. So if you see I'm in standard playback or play all the way to the end, right? One touch, or set it to loop, or I'm gonna just hit it to standard mode. And by going into chromatic mode that we have here right now, along with trimming the sample just to where I want it, I actually just created a brand new keyboard sound. Forgive my playing. Slice mode is pretty dope too, because you can then set the range of the slices, and then the Landr sampler will automatically analyze the audio in the sample and slice it up based on the transient event. So then you end up with all these different pieces of your sample. Right? So you see how I'm getting a little kind of clicks or pops, kind of little noise there? We can actually set a crossfade so that that'll eliminate all of that. And if I wanted to narrow in on a specific part of of this loop, I could do that as well. And then the slices will be reanalyzed. So if you got any samples that you need to chop up into different parts, man, this makes it super easy. If you go back to the normal mode, you can even go right into your Finder or anywhere else where you might have a sample and drag it and drop it right onto any note. They even have a sequencer built in, which I think is kind of dope, because then I can experiment with some ideas just by simply dragging and dropping right into the sequencer. Right? I can go to a different part on my sequence and actually just say, you know what, let's go to my advanced filter, make sure all of this is out. We're gonna just load some random samples real quick, matter of fact, and let's just say, hey, load one shots only. And then when I close this, I'm gonna hit this generate button and it's gonna just randomly give me some different sounds. So I can easily create a unique pattern without having to do too much. Right? So, you know, it gets a little crazy if you want to, but you can really have fun with this. You can set the swing. You got how many steps or divisions that you want. Maybe I want to actually break this down and say, you know what, let's do it like that. And we might be on to something. You got the sync button here so you can sync it with your DAW. And whenever you start to play from your DAW, it'll automatically play. This way you can experiment with your sequence or samples and you can listen to them in context with the music. We can take that up a step further by hitting this magic button, and then anytime that you experiment or listen to a sample, it will actually play it in time with whatever step you're on in your whole song, in your whole production. That's pretty dope. We also got some built-in effects. So if I go over to the effects tab, these effects worked individually based on what sample I have chosen. Or I could just say, hey, this is the main effects and all of these get this effect. So I could say, maybe I want to do a filter here. You see we got an X-axis and Y-axis that we can change. On the X-axis, I think, right? The X-axis is gonna be here, the resonance of the filter. Let's see. A little low pass filter, and then we got the frequency cut off from top to bottom. Wow. So that can get kind of crazy. We got crush, we got reverb, we got delay, and all kind of different effects that we can add to this just to make our sample sound even more unique. And just in case you're a stickler like me, you can even change the order in which these effects are processed just by dragging and dropping them to rearrange and create your own effects chain. Man, this makes it super easy for me to get inspired and start creating, making some beats. Even as an engineer, I want to play around with this and just start sampling stuff and chopping it up and sequencing it. Man, you can have a lot of fun with this. Landr Sampler is included with Landr Studio along with over 40 other plugins, including the Landr Master and Pro, Vocal Line, unlimited music distribution, samples, and a whole lot more. It's also available for a standalone purchase at just $99. But if you get the Landr Studio, you can save 20% by using my code that's in the description. I'm Wayne from WavyProAudio.com. Let me know in the comments, will you be using Landr Sampler? Be dope.